You're listening to Jenny's Real Talk on the Block with Jennifer DeVoe, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome, all you entertainment holics out there in Radio Land. It's time yet again for a thrilling, exciting installment of, you guessed it, Jenny's Real Talk on the Block, coming at you live each and every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on LA Talk Radio Channel 1. For all our Hispanic sisters and brethren around the world. That's numero uno. We're syndicated on the following: iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Alexa, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Sonos, Deezer, Radio Line, Podbean, Blog Talk Radio, Spotify, CastBox, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Geo7, and now syndicated on Sirius XM Radio. We manage the following bands and artists from around the world: Potty Mouth, Black Sabbath, female-fronted Black Sabbath tribute. We have Don Marlowe, High Priestess Extraordinaire. She'll read your fortune. She'll read your tarot. She might tell you you're going to die, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. She's cheap. Just kidding. Star Daddy, Nola Star, Jane's Addiction, which is a female-fronted Jane's Addiction tribute. That's Jane's Addicted, excuse me. Ozzy Train, female-fronted Ozzy Osbourne tribute from the Randy Rhoads era. We also have Mortis, the Devil's Reject, and the Mortis Doll Dancers, featuring Lillian Sin, Voodoo Kitten, and Lady Cinder. We also have Cleaver from Santiago, Chile. Fallen Fury, metal band from San Luis Obispo, California. Burn the Ships, which is new metal from Bakersfield. We also have Berserk and Hollywood Nightmare. That's a metalcore band from the LA area. We also have Borderline Radio Show with our DJs, Carol Dyack and Bruce Blaine from Italy. Derek Webb and Band of Family from Bakersfield. Will you get on with it? First 5 minutes are intro. Bars and venues that we work with regularly. We have the 5-Star Bar in downtown Los Angeles, owners Marco and Angie Cordova. Petey's Place in Tarzana, owner Petey Partello. Universal Bar and Grill, 4093 Lankershim, North Hollywood, California. That's Greg Beer, owner. And the Rainbow Bar and Grill. It's Metal Mayhem Mondays and Tuesdays with Nick Floco. All right. But last but not least, we're on with our guests for the week. We have a lot of guests today, so we're having a lot of interesting people, very eclectic mix of talents. From around, well, they're from all over the place. East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between. We have Eric Floyd, amazing music producer, concert promoter, everything, actor, comedian. This man does everything. You have to check him out. I don't know what you don't do, I swear to God.
I don't do Chinese midgets. Okay, let's move on.
Why not? They're so much fun. Anyway,
because once you've had Chinese food, you're hungry in 30 minutes. I mean,
you're very right about that. We also have the first female DJ in hip hop, Wanda Dee. Hello. New York style. Hell yeah, we love this.
Look it down, bro.
Yeah, right. We have a lot of amazing talent. We really do.
Can I intro with about it?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Other than being hip hop's first female DJ, she sold 35 million records as the voice of the KLF, the Arista, BMG, British pop dance group. So she went from hip hop DJ to the first female glamorous rapper, selling 3 million records, and then multi-label singer for EDM, the empress of EDM. Over here to her right is the amazing icon of jazz, blues, and soul and pop music, the legendary Miss Freda Payne. who Wanda affectionately calls her legendary showbiz mom. And to her right, the person whose beautiful home was opened up to us all today, the author, the groundbreaking stunt woman in Hollywood, who owns her own stunt company, and of course, a former mob wife, Miss Georgia Durante. Her book, The Company She Keeps, is a book worth reading, let me tell you. And you can see the company that she keeps right here. And to our right, all the way to your left, because we believe in putting a spotlight for new talent, we're in LA right now recording the debut reggaeton pop of this amazing composer, writer, rapper, and singer. And his name is Johnny Diablo.
I heard him sing today. What a voice.
And what a face. Right? To kill, we'd all be dead.
Dead's the doormat.
Well, good luck to you, because you've got at least 500 years of entertainment up here. So good luck.
But you all look so young. For 500 years of talent, you all look amazing.
Thank you. What's up a free fall? So where do you want to start?
Oh my goodness. I want to talk about some of the talent you work with, some of the people that you have gone through this course. I know you started very young at the age of 4, doing modeling. I mean,
I modeled for the Reverend Ike television workshop. Remember Reverend Ike?
yeah.
You know his famous saying was, "You can't lose with the stuff I use." It proved to be right.
I love it.
He discovered me walking down the street in front of my mother at 4 years old, and he put me in my first commercial for his ministry. And so I'm 55, so I've been in show business for 51 years.
Right? How many people can say that? Outside of the Jacksons.
That's true. That's true. The Jacksons.
Oh, which one?
Well, the family compound on everybody on Havenhurst in Encino. And I just lived like about 4 or 5 houses away.
I met Tito at LA Talk Radio. He was there doing a show. His children. His children, 2 of them I think were his kids, his sons. So it was like 3 Jacksons, and they did like a radio show at like 1 o'clock every Wednesday. I don't think they're still there, but which sucks.
The boys, was it 3 boys, right?
The 3 teams.
Yeah.
It's the 3 boys.
They formed a group and they became so successful. And and Michael, their mother, Dee Dee Jackson, passed away in '94, October of '94, who unfortunately was met an untimely death. It was murdered.
Oh, goodness.
In the pool.
And the swimming pool of her so-called boyfriend or fiance, rather.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about negative stuff, but she was a dear friend, and Sherry and my sister and I considered her like our sister.
They were very nice.
Yeah, she was very nice. And the boy, Michael, actually put all 3 of those boys through private schools. And he did that. So she was his favorite
Sister-in-law.
sister-in-law. Yeah, sister-in-law. Right.
You all met some incredible people. Worked with just some of the biggest names in the industry.
When I had my hiatuses, I danced on things. I worked with Eartha Kitt when I was 16. Eartha Kitt. And I worked with at Callaway.
Oh, I saw that.
And I worked with Reno. And then I got to work with Shirley. And finally, Beyond Forward.
Oh.
And so I guess I'm running into these different legends. So when people ask how do I know how to do shows and promote shows and market, I didn't go to school for this, but experience is the best teacher.
Oh, it is. It's the college.
You're working with Sarah Vaughan and people like that. You learn how to market.
I completely want to pick your brain. Because I want to learn how to be more successful at doing that.
Right.
We've been doing concerts for over 2 years, and I just I want to take my business to the next level this year. That's kind of what I'm
Simple to get answers in this seat, to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And then feed their intentions.
Okay, I like that. I love it. Definitely. I could learn a lot.
That's the only reason why Sam Houston wore bling and jewelry. It was just to get your attention. And then when you had your attention, you saw his intentions for it.
He was just, it's such a huge personality.
But there's so much history over there. Oh,
yes. Please, Georgia. You've got this new amazing book.
Yeah.
The company she keeps.
It's not a new book. It's been out for a while.
How long has this been out?
Came out in '98 and published again by Penguin Publishing in 2008.
Okay.
And it's just coming out now on audio.
What?
It doesn't die. People in the book die, but
Let's run with the fishes.
Concrete shoes.
Well, people out there who've never seen it before, it's new to them.
Yes. It's new to all of us.
Give us the 60 seconds. What is the book?
The meat and potatoes of the book.
And a little bit.
Well, I'm a stunt worker. I was. I'm retired. But how I got into that was because I used to drive the getaway cars for the mom.
Driving a getaway car.
Oh, wow.
And that happened because I was in an after-hour club and I was dating the owner, so he had me behind the bar. I just set a drink down in front of this guy, and the guy next to him pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Oh, whoa.
And he fell to the ground. Everybody scattered, ran out of the place, and Frankie threw me the car keys. Georgie girl, get the car, hold it up. They ready to get this guy to the hospital. Dragged him down 2 flights of stairs, threw him in the back seat, and I'm in the driver's seat. But I got him there in record time. We just left his body in front of the.
I know. We're just our seat like this.
Dropped him off at the emergency room.
Just beat the horn and took off. And all that, no, Bellevue. And then all they did was talk about, man, George, you drive a car. I didn't care less whether this guy lived or died. But that's all they talked about for months. So I go back to Rochester for a weekend, and I run into the godfather of that area. He said, Georgie, you got to do me a favor. And I said, sure, what do you need me to do? He said, if anybody finds out about this, they're going to find my body in the Genesee River. I can't trust anybody. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? Shows up the next day with a sealed envelope. I fly back to New York. There's a black limousine waiting for me. And they drive me into Brooklyn and then take me to this restaurant in this back room. And I'm to deliver this message. There's 4 guys sitting there, and I'm introduced as Georgie Girl. That's what they used to call me back then. And this guy, eyebrow recognized me, which he had because that's all he talked about was how I drove the car that night. Right? So anyway, I give him the envelope. We're walking out. The guy that's walking me out said, the old man really liked you. And I said, which old man? They're all old. Turned out to be Carlo Gambino.
Oh. We all know that. Come on.
So what I'm thinking, what they must have been thinking was, at the time I was appearing on covers of magazines. I was the Kodak girl. I looked like the girl next door. Like,
you still do.
Who's going to suspect me, right?
Right.
So it started out just, does anybody else going to get a chance to talk?
Finish the story. I'm sorry.
So it started out with me delivering packages and messages, and I would pick up these boxes and I would deliver them to JFK Airport, and there was always these 2 guys in suits waiting for me to take the boxes. Well, I didn't know what was in those boxes, but I later found out there were millions of dollars in these packages.
Holy.
And I was turning them over to the CIA.
Damn.
For the silence, for the cooperation, the compliance.
You were in a dangerous position.
Wow.
You're lucky to be alive.
All right here in this book. All right here.
Why this dog?
Wow.
We can turn this in your whole life just into a television series.
Well, absolutely.
Like for real, like
full on. It's been option, so it's like,
oh man, they need to do that.
Yeah.
That would be.
Let's give somebody else a chance.
Yes. Tell them Johnny Diablo. So, what style of music is that? I heard a reggaeton and pop. That sounds like a nice fusion.
Yeah, no. Reggaeton, at this point, it's grown and grown and grown to a point where it can be fused with so many elements. So that's in itself what makes it such a big genre nowadays. And I'm honestly open to all types of genres. That's just kind of what I lean to most. But I'm open to all types of music, and you'll definitely see that when anyone who tunes into the album or the songs that I come out with. There's elements of this, that. I'm bilingual in English and Spanish, so I've always been so blessed to listen to such great musicians from a very young age. And I just see it that I've absorbed everything up to this point. And, it's not copying, but making it my absorbing and kind of releasing music and my creativeness in my own way. And anyone who tunes into the album will definitely see that.
He is going to be a huge stuff one day. I listened to his voice. I was like,
and as his manager, he's asked me to ask all good white people to stop calling reggaeton music right now. It's not reggaeton music. You have to be actually in the right place. Stop saying reggaeton music. It's reggaeton.
It's kind of rotten.
And if they could roll their R in the beginning, reggaeton.
Reggaeton.
There we go.
How old are you?
20. I'm turning 21 this June. So
look at all that face.
Okay, well, all the ladies out there want to know: are you single?
I'm currently finding.
My girlfriend's watching this.
He's secretly married. He's a mom.
All we just want to know is are you straight? That's all I really want to know.
I'm straight. I can say that.
It's done with that.
He's totally fluid nowadays. He's fluid.
It sounds like discharge.
Yeah.
Well, all the people that you admire in music, she worked with.
Right.
Duke Ellington, Carol Bailey, Sammy Davis Jr., Lou Rawls.
I'm reminded of Duke Ellington every time I watch Big Bob Hope.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Really
Sinatra.
Johnny Mathis. I did a duet with Johnny Mathis.
Let's talk about your new album.
What is the name of the album?
Well, it's called Let There Be Love, and that is it's one of the songs. It's an EP, so it's not like a full.
How many songs on the EP?
It's like 5.
Okay.
Let's say 5.5, 6.
Okay.
But I did 4 duets.
Oh.
And I've done duets before, but not on maybe only on the albums. I've done like about 25 albums over my career. And this, maybe I've done 1 duet on an album or 2, but mainly it's usually just me. But I decided, well, it wasn't me deciding it. It was a guy by the name of Rodrigo Real. Rodrigo. He's from Brazil, he's Brazilian, but he's really of Italian extraction. Both his parents are doctors. He's a big, tall guy. He's only 4. He just turned 42, and he's a drummer. He's here, seeking his fame and fortune in America, and he been working around town, and he approached me. He started coming to one of my shows, and and that he was very impressed. He came to one of my shows where I was doing a tribute to Ella Fitzgerald, and he approached me, and he said, "You know, I would like. Have you ever done an album, Ella Fitzgerald?" I said, "No." I said, "But I've played Ella in plays, on, theatrically, you know." But anyway, he said, "I want to do an album with you. I want to record you." So I said, and I'm thinking like, "Oh yeah, right, you know."
I've heard that before.
And
you have a beautiful voice, though.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, he approached me and he said, um, uh, I want you to do big band and strings, big band." He says Gordon Goodwin. He mentioned some other arrangers, but Gordon Goodwin was the main guy, and he said, "I want to pick out some songs, and if you have any ideas, you can pick out some songs too. But I want you to do a duet with Johnny Mathis." So he approached and yes, he'd love to do a duet. And then he got Dee Dee Bridgewater, who's a very well-known jazz vocalist and a very good artist, very good. And we go back. Yeah, Broadway. Yeah, she was in the way. She's won a couple of Tonys, and she's a Grammy Award winner as well. So he called her people, and she said yes. So she knows me, So, but I didn't have a phone number on her or contact. So he did that. He got. Oh, and this is the guy I was thinking. I said, "Okay, I don't really know this guy," and I'm thinking he doesn't really. Kurt Elling. Kurt Elling is a Grammy Award-winning male jazz vocalist of a very high ilk, meaning he is like really good at what he does. He's a good-looking man. He's Caucasian, and he's a great scat. And I usually, it's like when you hear someone, yeah, he's great scat, but he's got a rich voice. And I got a hold of Kenny Lattimore. Now, Kenny is like anybody that knows is familiar with Kenny Lattimore. He has pipes. He has, and not just a good voice. He's a stylist. He's a stylist. He's creative in his vocals. So we got together with these 4 artists. We went into Capitol Records, Studio A, and I'm familiar with Studio A. The big, that's let's say Nat King Cole, Sinatra, Lena Horne. A lot of people recorded there. Nancy Wilson. And so. Yeah, I was signed to Capitol back in the 70s for 3 years, so I've been in. But anyway, yeah, all of those. It was like Red Hot was the last one, Stairs and Whispers, and Supernatural High. Those were 3 albums I did. So anyway, we recorded those, and the executive producer is a man by the name of James Michael Getz, and he and I are he is my boyfriend. Are you okay? And if it weren't for Michael, he goes by Michael Getz. And if it weren't for him, I don't think this project would have been done because at the time, this was before the pandemic. At the time, record companies weren't signing a lot of new artists. Matter of fact, very few. And things were like getting really slow for the record and recording industry. And this project, there was a lot of, let's say, funds, a lot of money put into it because when you hire 30 musicians, in Studio A, and then we got our strings done in Budapest, So that helped.
And Johnny Mathis ain't cheap.
Yeah, well, everybody did their thing. We took care of everybody, and everybody was happy. And the project turned out just wonderful. I'm so happy. Because everything with Rodrigo turned out to be an excellent producer. He was the guy sitting behind the board, pushing the levers and stuff like that. And he got a good ear, and everything turned out great. So. It just came out. You can get it on Spotify, all those streaming
platforms.
Platforms. All the streaming platforms.
What's the album called again?
Let There Be Love. Now, Let There Be Love. Now, Let There Be Love was the song that Nat King Cole had a hit on back in the 60s. That let there be you, let there be me, let there be oysters under the sea. You know, and Nat King Cole did a great job, and I said I can't do any better than that. How can I? Yeah. So I told Gordon Goodwin, I said, Gordon first did a basic track on it, and he sent it to me. You know, emailed me the MP3, and I played it, and I said, you know what, Gordon, that's nice, but that sounds like something I hear on a karaoke. You know, I want some funk. I'm doing a duet with Kenny Lattimore, who's a really great R&B jazz vocalist. I want this to have some. I said funk. I put some stank on it.
Oh.
In other words, I mean, put your foot in it. I said, put your foot in it.
Oh. Oh my God.
I said that to him. I said that, and I was hoping that he wouldn't be offended. But guess what? He came back 2 days later, and I played the track, and I said, "Well, Gordon, you did it." I said, "You did it. You put everything. I mean, the track is great. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not the typical, smooth.
Off the box.
And I said, you know what? This is, I was very happy. Now, the duet I did with Mathis was the Gershwin song. They can't take that away from me. And of course, Johnny Mathis delivered his wonderful vocals, and that was great. Dee Dee and I did 2 songs in one, and it was my idea. I said, you know what? I've always wanted to do Doodlin. Doodlin is a Horace Silver composition, and John Hendricks later on put a vocal to it, and a lot of different people have recorded Doodlin, by the way. And I said, I've always wanted to do Doodlin, and then one day I was just singing it to myself, and all of a sudden I heard moaning coming up to my head. And all of a sudden I heard that. Every morning by the morning do cause of all the trouble I've seen do. Life's a losing devil to me. And then I kept hearing Doolin coming in and out. So I gave that to Gordon, and Gordon came up with a fabulous arrangement on it. So and when I told Dee Dee, she said, "That's brilliant."
And you said you got the Grammy.
And Dee Dee has recorded Doodlin.
Oh.
She's recorded Doodlin on her own, in the past. So, yeah, she heard me singing. There are times when I have these epiphanies where I will hear a tune will just come into my head. And usually it's almost like a premonition cycle thing. Like, all of a sudden I'll start singing something like, something's coming, I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great, which means something is about to happen in my life. And I don't know why I'm singing it. It's just like, something's gonna be better.
She's pregnant. That's a whole lot of doodling.
I'm pregnant with my new puppy.
You got a new puppy.
She sits down, right? I sit down next to her and she starts singing.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Where I come from, it's called dementia. It's called dementia. Went out in July with Rudolph the Red. Call the paddywhack.
Hey, Christmas in July. Don't knock it till you try it.
This is the last interview with Super.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, Eric.
So Wanda and Freda did a duet of an Ashford and Simpson song called "I Ain't Been Licked."
Yes.
I Ain't Been Licked.
Tell that to my boyfriend.
That's right. He believes you are who you eat. So it's not on Freda's album, but it's on Wanda's new album. So we're going to do the music video as well. So it's called "I've Been Licked." And Diana Ross did it first back in the 1980s.
I didn't know she had done it.
Yeah, she did. But your version is much funkier. You know why? Because Freda had us put some snack on it.
Yes.
And put our foot in it. That's what she had us do. That's what she had us do. It's amazing. Whenever you work with Freda, you can guarantee that she's going to punk up the place and put a foot in it. Never better put your foot in it.
Hey, Parliament Funkadelic. What's the Parliament Funkadelic in it?
Wanda. We're right on Wanda Street.
Dave.
Okay, so we've been on a 77 city world tour.
Yes.
We're playing the stadiums, arenas, 100,000, 200,000 people, largest crowds we ever had.
Yeah.
And then we came home for a week to just rest. And we had 46 dates ahead of us.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, our agent called and said, listen, why don't you just take an extended vacation?
What?
I said, why do we do that with all that money out there on the table? He said, because no one's doing anything right now. Remember that?
Yeah. Pandemic.
And so we sat down and we enjoyed the time off. And then we realized it's time to go back to work. We're supposed to start the tour again October 1st in Oslo, Norway.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then October 2nd, she's headlining the Resurrection Festival
in Newcastle, England.
34,000 tickets already sold. On from there throughout 8 cities in Germany and France. We hope in October. So we said, well, let's record some new stuff. Mm-hmm. So since we love the ladies so much, we recorded Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yes.
Which is amazing. We mixed it with Madonna's True Love. Yeah. Whoa. We did the mashup. Thanks to Freda. But then we did a remake of the song, 70s salsa disco classic called Cuba. But we renamed the song Wanda. And we mixed it with the old Karen Young song called Hot Shot. Yeah. And that song, Wanda, is singing in English and then in Spanish, but then Johnny Diablo raps in Spanish and English. And then Wanda begins scatting in the song. And after she gets through scatting, she tributes where she learned how to scat from a legendary show, the Spring of Pain. She hasn't even heard it yet. On the way home, so I will play it for you in the car.
Can we get a little taste of it?
I'm just saying a little bit of that right now.
I'm not warmed up.
Well, let me sing that hot shot. But I do know that the Freda, just a little bit, just a little. My favorite song, you know my favorite song.
Well, Here's the Life.
Just a little bit.
Here's the Life was written by a dear friend of mine, Harvey Butler, and did the music, and a lady by the name of Phyllis Molinari did the lyrics. And it's always been a song from the first time I heard it back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And he played it for me in his living room. I fell in love with it immediately. And it goes like, no complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. And I have learned when all you give is all you get. So you give it all you got. I had my share, I drank my fill. And even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's down another road beyond a hill and do it all again. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. Funny how the time just flies. How love can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes and leave you with the memories you memorize to keep your winters warm. And there's no yes in yesterday. And who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away. As long as I'm still in the game, I want to play for love, for laughs, for love. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life. Here's to love. Here's to you.
Thank you, Freda.
I think you're a doctor, happy sleep. It's just very soothing.
I know. You know who else fell in love with that song? My dear friend who left us. February the 8th, Mary Wilson.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was like a sister.
Yeah. She used to love that song.
This thing has an erection. Is this vomiting too?
You are so
White people problems. People are starving out here. And she's like, well, this is really bothering me. This is really bothering me. Just don't touch me right now.
Georgia, I'm going to have to represent.
This whole interview's going to give us this. How much time do we have?
But that's what we love on this show.
Actually, the time ran out 20 minutes ago. We're just.
Oh, that's right. The lights are off, the camera's gone. What do we have left?
We've got 10 minutes.
Oh, that's left.
So the last 2 or 3 minutes, we'll just have you go around. For people to find social media. Or you can talk about it. I mean, your interview.
And you can find us. Just Google our names. You'll find Johnny Diablo, Georgia Durante, like Jimmy Durante. Yes. I
love those movies.
That's Freda Payne.
Well, yeah, I have a website, and it's www.fredapayne.com, and also you can find it from IamFredaPayne.com. But just go to FredaPayne.com.
And that's Payne.
Listen.
Yeah.
If you have to spell it to the you're too
It's America. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that. Yeah.
You mentioned that I'm a jazz singer, which I am. But most people around the world know me as a R&B pop singer. And the reason is because I had a #1 hit record in 1970 called Band of Gold. That was produced by Holland Dozier and Holland. I have 2 gold. That was a gold record. I had another gold record a year later in '71. That was called "Bring the Boys Home."
And she's been bringing them home ever since.
Yeah.
She invented the word cougar.
Oh no! I could not. Oh.
And then this is Wanda Dee.
I like younger guys because it's like we're equally yoked because I'm young. I'm young at heart.
At heart. Right.
I have to wait to get a Cabana Boy wherever he goes. Sorry. I hope it's for many.
No. Send them to me.
And this is Wanda
I have nothing against older men because they're good too.
For helping give birth to younger men.
I got the hook up.
Wanda Dee, you can find it. It's D-E-E, and I'm Eric Schwartz. But what we should do,
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm on none of those things, but my picture can be found in post offices all around.
And the back of the little cartons as well.
That's right. Chocolate milk. Chocolate.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram as well, and Twitter.
Pluggy.
Bloody.
It's like a hair transplant. What would you say is one of the most, the last minutes here, one of the most memorable experiences each of us have had in show? Yes.
Meeting you.
Most definitely.
Oh.
Okay, well, thank you, Georgia. It was on my mind. How about you? You've worked with the biggest.
Oh,
You didn't work for Donald Trump at his hotel.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
I turned Jewish on May Ishmael. I did. I worked for Donald. It wasn't one of the most memorable experiences.
Well, then don't waste time on it.
It was in the 1988 in Atlantic City. I worked at
His
Trump
hotel.
Castle. I performed there for 2 weeks, and I worked there twice that year. And I worked there in June once, and he asked me to sing at his birthday party, and he requested a song.
Was he having his party in his bedroom?
No, not at all. In one of the hotel banquet rooms, and he requested that if I could sing, "What are you doing the rest of your life?" I thought it was a song when he was trying to hit on me, but
It probably was.
yeah. Anyway, that's what happened. And that's my only experience with Donald Trump.
That you can talk about on this
However,
show.
I did not vote for him, by the way.
Very good. Right. But really, with all the amazing huge stuff that you work with, what is one of the most cuts?
Okay. I have to say Sammy, and the reason is because I've worked with him several times, including on Broadway at the Uris Theater. And Sammy is the kind of person, when you work with him, he's the kind of guy you want to go into the wings and stand there and watch him, or go up front after you finish, because I was opening. And because he was such a phenomenal entertainer.
Yes.
And I remember once I was standing in the wings and watching him, and because he does that, not only singing, tap dancing, impersonations.
Playing instruments.
Sometimes he jumped up on the stand and started playing the drum. And one night I was still standing, and he made his exit, came off, and he said, and I said, "Oh, Sammy, you were so great tonight." He says, "I was great tonight. What about other nights?"
I get sucked last
He
night.
said, "What was so good about tonight? Wasn't I good last night? The next I'm sorry I asked.
I'm sorry. How about you? What are the most memorable experiences this year?
Being auditioned in person by Harry Belafonte.
Oh.
So the movie beats you.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
He came up to the Bronx with his assistant director and his son, and watched me DJ. And I said, "Well, what do you think?" I said, "Is there a part in the movie for a female DJ?" He said, "Now it is." Now it is.
And history was made.
Yes. Yes.
And then we got to see him.
Working with my children. It was like a dream come true. I mean,
Everybody together.
yes.
If I ever had a baby, a daughter, wow.
Oh, thank you.
And for me, well, Eartha Kitt, Lena Horne, Eartha Kitt. I booked her at the Tunnel once.
Yes.
Her big disco record came out. She knows it was going to be a hit. It was called "Where Is My Man?" And it was the biggest record she ever made. And she didn't know it was that big. I booked her and Divine. Divine is dead now.
It was 6,000 people
at the Tunnel in New York. And so Eartha had to go on and do her dance show, not a cabaret show. And she didn't really know the words to "Where Is My Man?" And she was a little tipsy, just a little. So here she is looking at me in the wings, the music's playing, and I said, "I spend hours on the phone. I chew my fingers to the bone. Where is my man?" I'm giving her the lyrics, and she's looking at me. It was so stupid. While I was watching this, going, "This is so stupid." So they give her $5,000 to do like 2 songs. She was overwhelmed. Because normally you do a cabaret show, you got to work a whole two shows in one night to make maybe that kind of money. But she got 2 songs. Well, I booked her for 2 songs for just $5,000. But that was even 75.
Yeah, it was
But it was in the 80s. It was good money back then. But, yeah, so she did it, and she came off stage and said, "I gotta learn the words to this song." I'm like, "Yes, it's a very big difference." I can't travel with her on the road, but I spend hours on the phone. I chew my fingers to the book. So she finally learned the words. That was one of the most favorite moments of my life.
I have to say, I have a child. I have a son. My son is Gregory Abbott, and he's quite a young gentleman. He's got a great mind. He's 40. No.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, Elsie Buffet. No, he's 43. Oh.
Tune into next week's episode when white women cross the line.
That's every week. Oh, that's every week of our show. We have to come to a conclusion, unfortunately. I know.
We haven't plugged enough things yet.
I know.
I got a book for overtime.
I'm in the book.
You're in like 15.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a memoir coming out.
It's coming out in September.
Are you going to call it No Pain, No Gain?
No.
No Pain, No Pain, No Gain?
What's the title?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, it's a working title.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to you this fall. I got you. We'll have you back on the show.
Yeah.
By then, the radio station should be back open again.
Yeah. My memoirs. Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting.
Oh.
I can't wait to read that. I can't. This. Anyway, this has been Jenny's Real Talk on the Block, LA Talk Radio Channel 1 and iHeartRadio. We have been with some incredibly talented individuals today.
Johnny Diablo. Yes. Johnny Diablo. Georgia Durante. Freda Payne. Wanda Dee. And Nipsey Russell. Thank you.
Till next week.
Eric Floyd.
Till next week, we have Mortis the Devil's Reject.
Oh,
peace out.
Way to go, Jenny.
You're listening to Jenny's Real Talk on the Block with Jennifer DeVoe, only on LA Talk Radio.